In this video I'm going to show you how to create your cubicles, schematics and single lines. Now to speed up the process, we're going to import the cubicles into our panel table. So let's go to the tables, open the panel table and import our spreadsheet. On my desktop I already got a spreadsheet, and just to show you what's happening in the spreadsheet, let me quickly open Excel. And this is the spreadsheet I basically prepared for import. I've got all my different MCCs. I've got there's 3 MCCs here, different tiers, different cubicles. So it's the MCC tier and cubicle name. The area, the circuit type I'm going to use, and my single line symbol. This is very important because this is how it's going to generate on your single lines. What I also do is I prepare my group tag with the motors that's associated with these cubicles. And this little yellow field just indicates it will be ignored in the table. Okay, let me close this guy again and let's import it. It immediately tells me it's found 117 cubicles to import and nothing to be updated because it's an empty project. I know this is true, so I can just say do it, imported my cubicles. If I refresh my panel table, all my cubicles is imported. Okay, my next step is to go to my components to build my cubicles for my libraries. So I'm going to select a few of my direct online cubicles, open my libraries, and in my libraries I've got 2 types of direct online cubicles defined already. To view what is inside of this library item, I can just open my library item and I can see I've got my devices, my motor, signals and the schematic diagram already associated. This is just the library item I built in the previous project. So I can just drag and drop my cubicles, my library item on these selected cubicles, and it will go through and build my components one by one, cubicle for cubicle from the libraries. Okay, once this is done, I'm already in a state where I can preview all my schematics and I can go and create my MCC and my single line in the next step. There's complete with my building of my cubicle. Okay, now that the cubicles is finished builded, we can quickly open a few of these cubicles to see what happened in the inside. So from my libraries, this cubicle was built. And the next one. And notice that the naming convention of my tags is already in place just because I got my group tag in place. It will know my motor names, my signal names, it will derive everything from my group tag. So to quickly go and look at all my schematics that's been created, we can go to the documents and there's the 8 cubicles we just built. So on updating and viewing these 8 schematics, it will open them one by one and show us the detail inside of it. Quite a powerful feature. So all 8 of these schematics is in place now with the relevant data. And just to zoom in on a few of them, as I close them you'll see that all the information is in the schematics. It also contains all the circuit breakers, the contactors, information and related information. Okay, I'm just going to close all these windows. Our next step now is to go back to our components to create an MCC to associate all our cubicles to, and then create our single line diagrams for that. To create our MCC, I'll go to New Component, MCC, select my location, MCC tag rule, and let's call this substation 1, that's MCC01. I'll remove this tier information and say OK. This will open up my MCC that I can associate my cubicles to it. So I'll click on my list options on the cubicles, select all the cubicles that I've created from my libraries, press the associate button, and it will associate all my cubicles with this MCC. My next step is to create my single line diagrams for these cubicles. So in my Component Explorer, I can click on single line diagram and it will open my auto print range dialog where I can create. On this auto print range dialog, you can specify the amount of cubicles you want to use, how many rows do you want on every sheet, what is your default template you want to use, what's the auto-generate configuration file do you want to use, and the default naming convention it must use for creating these documents. I'm just going to say, right, let's have say 5 cubicles on a sheet, so it will create 2 documents for me. And I'm going to say, okay, create my documents for me. So now I created a single line diagram 1 and single line diagram 2 for me, and they are ready to be previewed. So if I press preview in Component Explorer, it will generate my single line diagram and show me my single line. Okay, I forgot to create my feeder for this MCC. So under Components, I can go and click on Open New Feeder, and I can create, let's just name it Feed 01, and I'll just use my function rule, so it can create my feeder. Okay, so in my MCC, I can open it up, select my feeder, associate my feeder with this cubicle. Okay, now that the feeder is created, I also need to specify which single line symbol this feeder must use. So on my properties, on the side, you'll see the single line symbol is empty. Now to show you how I get all these symbols from, I can go and show you under templates, open my auto configure files, select my single line diagram configuration file and open it. Immediately it will show you all the different types of configurations I've got for single lines. I know I want to use this power feeder, so I'm going to select my power feeder text, because this is the text I'm looking for, and I'm going to update my single line symbol field for this feeder. Okay, so now that I've got my single line symbol filled in, I've got my feeder associated, I can recreate this single line diagram to reflect the changes on it. So if I go back to my documents, I can select my single line diagrams and say update and view designs to force them to generate data from my database. It will recreate both single line diagrams for me, and as you can see on the first one, the feed is already coming in, and on the second one it's just coming from the first drawing and it carries on to the next drawing. This is the basic steps on how to create your cubicles, how to import it from an Excel spreadsheet, how to create all your cubicles from your libraries, how to create your single line diagrams.